Hi, this is Kathy, and thanks for coming back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make these cute little, they're about 4 by 6 inch journals, and they're accordion or concertina style journals that have 4 signatures. So let me show you what they look like inside. I did have this, posted some of this in Friendly Junk Journal People, but I never did a flip through. So let me show you what I'm planning to show you how to do. And it's not very hard at all. First of all, the signatures are held in place with elastic, so they're removable. There's a ribbon closure that's simply on the back under the paper. And this is the cover. You open that up. I have a little corner tuck. That's my dog behind me. And a little envelope with a cute little tag. And this is the first signature. Then I have a little vertical flip with another tag. And then we go over to the second signature. There's a couple of belly bands with little fold-out envelopes. I think they're so cute. And then in the top, there's a full page pocket with a tag. This is the second signature. And then on this page, this opens up and you find a vertical band with a little butterfly, and there's a little vertical pocket with a bookmark. Fold that in, close it up, and then we go to what looks like the back, but we open that up and there's another signature with a corner tuck up at the top with a little accordion style fold out. There's a pocket here, full page. There's the other signature. And then there's a little vertical pocket. You open that up and there's a bag. And here I put in a little pad as well. Close that up. Go over to the last signature. There's another little corner tuck with a bingo card and a little fold-out envelope with a signature and a bag on the back with a tag. And there's also a full pocket here. And we close them all up. And that's what we're going to be making today. It takes about about 2 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock. This one that I just showed you had 4 signatures. I also made one that had only 3 signatures. It opens up. I didn't finish putting the pockets inside. It has a fold out. Then you turn that page. It has another signature. And then you turn the whole thing over. Whoops. And it has another signature here. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Stay with me if you'd like, and I'd appreciate it if you do. If you could please give me a like if you choose to. I'd appreciate it. Okay, let's get started. Here are the materials. You need 3 pieces. Let me make sure this is in camera. Okay. You need 3 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock. You need 8 eyelets. That's to hold in the elastic cord. And you need some ribbon for the closure. The journal itself is 4. Let me give you an exact measurement. It's 4 by 6. That's what I thought. The exact measurement is 4 by 6. The signatures inside are made from paper that measures 6 3/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. So it's 6 3/4 inches wide. That's before you fold it in half. So when it's folded, it'll be about it'll be a little over 3 inches. And you need 10 to 15 pieces in each of the 4 signatures. That doesn't mean full length pieces. I put scraps in mine and all sorts of stuff. So don't be fussy on what goes in your signatures. You need glue, scissors, scoreboard, a 1-inch circle punch and hole punch, some inks if you'd like. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start by taking our pieces, one of them, and our scoreboard. Let me put this over here. Here's our scoreboard. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my paper in half. Get off some glue. Been gluing this morning. And make sure that's nice and crisp. And it doesn't matter if you score with the top side, the folded side down or up. I'm going to put the folded side down. And here are the score lines. 3 1/2, 4, 7 1/2, 8, and 11 1/2. 3 1/2, 4, 7 1/2, 8, and 11 1/2. Okay. So we have 3 1/2, 4, 7 1/2, 8, and 11 1/2. Now check and make sure it went through, because it's kind of hard to fold if you don't. I'm going to take my other piece. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Almost the exact same thing. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So the second one we're going to do 3 1/2, 4, 7 1/2, 8. And you don't have to do the 11 1/2. Okay? Make sure it went through. And you can put your scoreboard away. At least that's what I did. I didn't use it anymore. And I'm going to take my first piece that I did, the one that has a score at the 11 1/2 inches, and I'm simply going to fold the left side in. Get that nice spine. Okay. Then we're going to fold the next one back on itself. Almost like you're doing an accordion. Or just like you're doing an accordion, actually. Make those folds nice and crisp. Just like that. And fold the last one, whoops, towards the center. A little trickier when it doesn't have anything with it. I folded that a little too. I'm going to have to fold it this way first because the line's a little clearer. Then I'm going to fold it back on itself. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so when I'm done, I have something that looks like this. This is going to serve as the front cover with the first signature. This will have a second signature in it. And let me show you how we're going to do that. Now you're going to take your second piece. And on your second piece, you're going to cut it off right at that last fold line. Directly on it. But let me make sure. Wait. Yes. Well, wait a minute. Yeah. So you're going to fold it just like this. Cut it right on that line. And you can save this for later. You might want to make some pockets with it. And now this time, you're going to fold this little crease in because it's going to sit in here, and you're going to fold this second piece back. And if you make a mistake, don't worry. Whoops. I'm telling you wrong. You want to make sure when you're folding it that the open part is at the top, so that when you fold this little strip, it's folding towards the center. And if you make a mistake, just you can simply just switch it around and do it the right way. No biggie. This is a little off. It's hard to see when it's printed paper. It's always hard for me to see, but it's hard when it's printed paper. Okay, so now you're going to end up with the open side at the top with your little edge, because what's going to happen is we're going to glue this on here, and this gives you your 4 places for signatures. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? First things first, though, put your shorter piece aside, and we're going to work with this piece. We're going to open it up and take your 1-inch circle punch, and we're going to make some notches in here for the full pockets, if you choose to have one. Remember, the left flap is your cover. So you can choose to have a pocket there, which I'm going to do this time. I didn't do it on my first one, but I like the inside cover to have a full pocket. And I'm going to do it on the side. Then I don't need another pocket in the first signature spot. And I don't want to put one there. But maybe on the back, I'm going to put one at the top. And it doesn't matter where you put them. Okay, just like that. I have 2. You can have more, you could have less. Now what I'm going to do is it's time to glue this together. Now we know, since this is a full pocket, I don't want to put glue all over this side. I'm going to put glue around the bottom edge, this side and this side. I'm going to make sure I get it down the spine. I'm going to put glue all over this. Make sure I get it down the spine. And on this one, I have a pocket, so I'm only going to put it at the bottom. Here, this glue is very runny today, but I don't want to forget about this back spine. I'm going to close it up. And going to wipe up my mess. Make sure it's down nice and tight. And I'm going to take out my bone folder and make sure particularly that the spines are nice and glued. It's going to make them, you notice how I'm pushing the glue out. It's going to make them stronger when they're holding your binding, holding your signatures rather. Okay, and I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to try to fold it back in place a little bit. And then I'm going to set it aside to dry. And I'm going to take my shorter one. And I'm going to put a pocket in here. Am I? Yeah. No, I'm not going to put another pocket. I have 2 pockets for this small journal, and I think that's going to be fine. But I am going to open it up, and I'm going to glue it. And get it all over the place here. Make sure I get the spine. And the spine, I want to go towards the edge here. Close it up. Push that glue out. I wouldn't have to push the glue out if I didn't have such runny glue, and I'm not really paying attention to how much I'm putting on. Okay. And again, I want to fold this back into place like this. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to glue this together. Make sure I have it right. Yes, I do. Okay, so I'm just going to put glue down the center here. And then I'm going to stick this right on top. These are fun little journals to make. I keep one in my purse. I use it for all sorts of things. Now, I really have to make sure this piece lines up. Because this is still wet, it's a little more difficult. Make sure that I'm going faster because of the video, but make sure you let it dry first. Dry really well. Otherwise your folds get a little wonky. And as this overlaps here, I'm just going to trim it just a smidge. I want to glue this down, take off that excess. And there you have the base. Just like that. This is our cover. Our open sides are at the top. I'm sorry, this is our cover. I was looking for my pocket. I want to make sure by putting my bone folder in where I have my notch, I want to make sure that the pockets are cleared up and haven't been glued shut accidentally with all my excess glue. And then I know I had another pocket here. I'm going to do the same thing. Okay. And there you have it. Very simple, the base. Now, in preparing my signatures, all I do, and I already have mine prepared, is I didn't have any tea-stained paper left, so I don't have any in here. So I'm really just using some ivory papers and some deli paper. And I put 10 to 15 sheets in each. And remember I said the original signature page size was 6 3/4 by 5 1/2. It can't be any bigger than that, but it could be smaller. So that's what I do. I gather my paper together. And because these are so small, I also put a piece of colored paper in there. Because these are such small signatures, I sewed them all on my sewing machine. It makes it very easy. I have a very inexpensive, if not cheap, Brother machine, and it does all this sewing for me. You know, it hasn't, I sew everything on there, and it's held up, and it sews it well. Okay, so it's quick and easy. So those are my 4 signatures I already have ready. At this time, you would probably be getting your signatures ready. I gave each of them a cover that coordinates with the folder. And this paper selection is by Bo Bunny. And I got it at Tuesday morning. The Tuesday morning by me is closing down. So all the paper packs are like, you know, 50% off, 40% off now. And they're already marked down considerably. So these were like $4 a pack. I love Bo Bunny. Anyway, and Bo Bunny is made by American Craft, I believe. Okay, so I'm going to put those signatures aside and I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to punch holes in our bindings. And I'm going to use a hole punch. And I'm not a measurer. Those of you that know me know this. I'm going to go approximately, though, let's see. Approximately, I would say a half an inch to a quarter of an inch in the center of each spine. That's where the hole's going to go. So, right about there. And I want to try to get it in the center. This is still wet, so it's acting a little funny. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I don't want to go in too far. I want to be as close to the edge as I can get without compromising the strength of the eyelet and the binding. If I go too close to the edge, it'll obviously tear. And I'm going to do that in all 4 binding areas. All 4 spines. Just like that. Because these spines are so small, it's easy to find where the center is. And these places, these white things that show up the underneath side, I'm going to ink that up, so I'm not worried too much about that. I'm going to do the same thing here. And here. I hope you all are staying safe from the hurricane. I'm down in Miami. We missed it, or it missed us, thank goodness. You know, it's one thing about living in South Florida. Every year we get a little nervous, having made it through Hurricane Andrew a long time ago and all these other hurricanes. Lost my home, the walls around me. So it's, I always thank the Lord when a hurricane misses us. Feel sorry for the people that don't get missed, though. Okay, so next I have all my holes, 8 of them. Now I need the 8 eyelets. And I have my eyelets here. I put the nice side on the outside. And I'm going to put those right in place. If you're unsure of how to put in eyelets, join the club. You know, with me, it took practice. And now I'm fairly good at it. Sometimes it's just luck, but I'm getting better at it. Well, that didn't work too well. Okie doke. And 2 on the back, or on the other side. Let me make sure. And I love these We Are Memory Keepers. It has 2 size hole punches and then the thing to set all your eyelets. So it does make life easier. So you can find them usually at Michael's or such. And, you know, wait for a coupon. Sometimes it'll say, if you go in the stores, that you can't use it on We Are Memory Keepers. But what I've found is if they tell me no in the store, I order it online and use the coupon and they take it regardless. So don't be discouraged. There's always a way. Oh, of course, the last one I mess up on. Okay. Now I think we're cooking. I have all my rivets in, or eyelets. This one's a little funky. Now I'm going to put in the elastic, and I have elastic cord. You can use twine, you can use ribbon or cord, you know, any sort of cord. I have about 2 feet in length. You don't need this much. I was just cutting it crazily. You need about 18 inches, 14 to 18 inches. And all I'm going to do is pass it through. I'm actually going to cut it before I tie it, because I didn't need all that. Pass it through. tie a knot. I don't want to make it too tight because this is, you know, really flexible paper. It's not. That's probably a little too tight. It also could be because it's still wet. Let me try to, yeah, that's better. I'm gonna cut this. That's one. Put the other one in here. Oops, have to go this way. I'm going to cut this too before we start. I wasted a lot of elastic, didn't I? Oh well. And you want to make it tight enough where your signature doesn't fall out, but because these are such small signatures, you don't have to be as fussy as you would normally. And two more. This is that funky. Let me see if I can tighten this a little bit. I don't think I can. I think I put the wrong size eyelet in here. It's too thick, but let me see if I press it really well. That's a little better. Okay. This goes this way. So I'd say you need about 16 inches just to make it easier for you to tie. If you're a good tire, you don't need that much. You need about 14. And one last one. Okay. And next I would normally add the signatures, but I'm going to add some ink first. Let me clean up this over here. I want to get rid of this edge. And go all the way down while I'm on this side. I really want to get rid of this white. Okay. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to take and put a little piece of paper in here. I have some leftover. And we're doing that to hide the white part. Let me make up that edge. And we're just going to slip that underneath here. Whoop. My goodness. The reason I'm having trouble is it glued down really quickly. Goodness gracious. And I do need to put my bone folder in here. I notice it's kind of sticking together. Okay, and then there was one more over here. My goodness, I'm having a hard time today. I think that's there. Geesh, there we go. Okay. Let me get some black in here. All right, that's our base. Let me put my signatures in. That's one. Two. Three. And quattro. I'm going to cut these a little more because my elastic is so thick. Okay, so there you have it. This doesn't end quite all the way. There's this. There we go. Okay, now you want to squish it down. Next thing I'm going to do before we go any further is I'm going to put on the back ribbon piece. So this is the front, and the back piece is going to go here. And I need a piece of, I'm using the same color. It's going to go right. Actually, I'm going to try to match it up with the design on the back. So I need to cut this just a nudge. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is put a lot of glue here. And put my sari silk here. And I'm not going to worry about that yet. I'm going to attach the back piece. Oh, it went this way. I'm going to let that dry. This is the front, and it's going to come around and tie like that. But the next thing I want to do is I want to put a flap inside. I don't know if I'm going to use that color. Let me see what else I have. I have this color. Kind of, whoop, you see this is coming up because I didn't let it dry. Make sure you guys let it dry while you're doing that. I think I'm going to put this here and it'll be a fold out. So we could have it be a fold out and a pocket if we'd like. So let me take a little notch. Add some glue around the edges. Make sure I'm putting it the right way. I think I am. And that can open up like that. So we go from here, then we go to here, then we have a little fold out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my heat tool, and I'm going to try to dry that quickly. Oh, that doesn't help you, does it? I'm so sorry. I just turned out the light. I'm knocking everything down. Okay, let's try again. I thought I was pulling out my computer, but obviously I was not. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Blackout. Okay, Okay, that's better. So that'll be a little fold out. Then we go over to this side, and I think we probably we'll put some tucks over there. Okay, let's go back to the front right here. And we're going to need a tag or something to go in there. Ooh, this will be pretty right in front too. I found this little bag that I had. So let me put that here. And we're going to put that there. The colors go pretty together. And what am I going to get to go in there? I have a bunch of little things here. I'll put a little ticket in here. Aren't these pretty? I think I got it from Calico Collage. I think. I could be wrong. But they have some beautiful stuff there. Now I have a little tag. Maybe that should go in the pocket that we have on the other side somewhere, once I find it there. That could go there once I decorate it. Okay. Holy moly. Did I put that on wrong? No. Okay. Am I totally confusing you guys? Let's see what we've got. I think this could go, or it could be on our cover. I think this could go as a tag. I had to make it a little shorter. But I'm going to round the corners. That won't do it. Just slightly. Drop something on the floor. Let's see if this will fit in here. Looks like it's stuck together. It was. Just want to see if this will fit. Needs just a smidge more cut off. And that means I have to round the corner again. And there's places to write on the back, and I do need to ink it up a little bit. Now in these, I don't go about adding anything else to the signatures. I leave them completely plain. And that's your choice. If you choose to add some little ephemera to the signatures, you can. So I'm going to put this right in here. I think that's pretty. Okay, we're going to turn there, and over here I could add something. I had this, but I don't know that. Oh, it will fit. I could make that into a little pocket. Let me. And this came with this paper pack. This is really coming out too fast. Oh, I want to make sure with the spine barely able to make it. Right up against the score line. Okay, and let's put a little what would be pretty in there is a pretty little tag. So let's make this into a tag. It's a square. I'm going to cut off the edges to make it into a tag shape. Cut a hole. I don't like the way that looks. Actually, I need a bigger hole. And a little piece of ribbon. Oh, let me ink it up. Come on. My chubby fingers in there. There we go. And then maybe no, that's enough. So we open it up. We have that, and we have that. That's good. Then on this side, we have a little opening. I want to cover that paper a bit. Maybe I'll put this here. Okay, I can go behind there. I know I was going to put this in the other one, but let me get some of this mess out of your way. I'm not going to use that. My garbage bag fell down. Put that back up. That would help. Okay. This over here. And what did I do with it? Did I just throw that away? I don't know. I can't find it. Okay, well, anyway, I'm actually going to cover this because I don't like all that white. So I'm going to just glue this there, nothing more. Trim this. And let's see what I can do over here. I'm going to cut this into two strips. I'm going to put them like this. I'm going to glue just the tops. And the top for now. Then I'm going to take this, cut it in half, cut this into two strips, and I'm going to glue this on one end. I'm going to weave it through the paper. I'm going to take the other strip and do the same thing. This one goes over. Then I'm going to glue these down at the bottom. And glue these at the bottom. On the side, I guess would be the right thing to call it. And these need to be trimmed. I didn't measure them quite correctly. And then I'm going to add these cute little flower thingamabobbies in there. And I always think these make such cute little ways to hold little pieces of ephemera. You know, it's like those ribbon bulletin boards. So I think that looks pretty. I could use something over here. I know. I'm going to take some strips of paper that I had left, and I'm going to make those little envelopes. We roll it up. And roll it up. I think that's far enough. Cut it off. Fold it over. I want to make it look like a little envelope. Just like that. Ink it up. And like that. And I think we'll put that. And we'll do a second one. Whoops. And the exact same thing. I want to make sure they're kind of the same width or height. Yeah. Just like this. And like this. These are fun little things that can fold out and folks can write on. And as always, when I'm doing anything, I fold it, I don't crease it, and then I clip it. And that's going to go just like that. I'm going to ink that up as well. Okay, so we're going to put those here. And I'm going to put a little strip on them. Just like this, just to add some color so that it matches the background there. Where am I going to put it? Being that I cut it too small, I'll put it here. And then what I'll do is I'll clip it. Then we glue the back. And we'll glue that right there. It'll look just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing to this. And clip it as well. And glue the back. Okay. And I also want to, oh no, I don't. Okay. Looks good. And I honestly don't know what happened to that tag that I had. I'll find it. It's somewhere. But I don't know what I did with it. Okay. Next. Now we're back on this side. Going into the back. We'll put a little, it's not big enough. Let's see what we've got. I have a pretty piece of glossine that I can make into a bag. So let me see if the whole butterfly will fit. Yes, I think it will. So I'm going to cut this out this way. Cut it out this way. It's going to make a pretty bag. And remember what I do with this glossine, this is simply tracing paper that I have printed out some images, some digi images on, and then I spray them with a clear coat. And what that does, it makes them more translucent and gives them a shiny effect. I learned that from Nick the Booksmith. She has a tutorial on her channel. I've adapted the tutorial, and if you look into my videos, you'll see you'll see how to do it. And now I'm going to just cut a little edge, scoop edge. I really kind of messed up on the cutting here. That's okay. And then I'm going to glue this closed at the bottom and the side. Pick it up a bit. Whoop. I'm going to ink this up more than usual. Give it a little sooty look. I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it right there, spread this around. And glue it in. And let's see what I have. This is pretty. It's not big enough. I'll put this little piece of, I think it'll fit. Nope. Let's see what I have in here. There's some goodies in here. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, 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 nope. This is actually pretty. Can make this into a little booklet. I can go right in there. Let that down a little bit. Okay. Here we can have a little belly band. Won't go vertically, right? We have to go this way. And let me see if I can cut this out. I'm not a very good fussy cutter, but we'll see what we can do here. Okay, then we're going to take a piece, because I want to make the butterfly movable. We're going to take a piece that we wrap around the belly band. Don't make it too tight, but tight enough so it can move, but not tight enough not loose enough so it falls off. This is a little loose. Cut this a little bit. Okay, that'll do. And then I'm just going to glue it on one side. Oh, so much glue. Then I'm going to glue the belly band in place. Whoa, it is uneven. Glue the belly band in place. This still moves. I'm going to glue the butterfly on top of that little band. Then you have a little movable belly band. And we can put a couple of pretty flowers there. There. Okay. So what do we have? We have a bag, signature belly band that moves. Now we need something over here. So let's see what we got over here. This is awfully pretty. That's a little too stark. Let's see what I have. I have some more of this from the paper pack. So let me make a little tuck spot. Okay, that works for me. Okay, a little tuck spot, and in that tuck spot, I think I'm going to put this pretty little tag, cheerful. I'm going to jump to the cover. And clear up this mess. Okay, and let's think about the cover. Well, I like to make these pretty simple because they're pretty simple journals. I like to make the cover not too futsy-wutsy. Let me see, I was looking for some some gold. I always like gold. I'm gonna put that on. I think it's pretty. Smudge that with my finger. And add that in. Make sure it's not sticking the pocket together. And I'm wondering if that pretty little tag that I put back here would be pretty up here. Nah. Nah. Let's see. How about how about we go with something like these? And no, don't like that color. How about this one? Then we can add some flowers and some rhinestones. Don't like that either. I think we're going to have to just go with flowers. Oh, let me pull the flowers down. And see what we've got. I kind of like these. Oh, I had some that had purple in the back. Let me see what these colors look like. I'm gonna go with those. Although I do like the darker colors. But oh, here they are. This is what I was looking for. Yeah. Those are perfect. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty. The colors, I don't like the saying very much. Okay. Well, I think that will have to do it. Let me move this. Let's tie it up. It needs something down here, a word or something, right? But you get the gist. Let's see what we did here. Move all this out of the way. Let's open it up. We open it up and we have a full pocket here. The paper bag. Our first signature. And a little pocket with a tag. We move over to the second signature. Open it up. And we have some little fold-out envelopes and some little ephemera. Turn that over as if we're going to the back. And we have a bag with a pretty little pamphlet, another signature, a belly band that's supposed to be movable. Let me see. Let me see this. There we go. There we go. And then we turn that and we have a little corner tuck with a pocket. I mean, with a tag. Nothing here. I don't know if I'm going to put anything there. But anyway, thank you for watching. That's all we're going to do today. I know this was a little long because it was making it and then me decorating it and then the lights going out and everything that could go wrong. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and you all have a great day. I appreciate you. Thanks.